danced in the morning when the world was begun, and I danced in the moon and the stars and the sun, and I came down from heaven and I danced on the earth. At Bethlehem I had my birth. Dance then wherever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I lead you all wherever you may be, and I lead you all in the dance, said he. There's a little bit of good in everyone. This is the power of humanity. The Red Cross.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Easter in a Bag. This is Hyde's turn, and there are with me three people you know really well who are going to introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Sheilah, and I usually do crafts at Messy Church.
Hello, I'm Sue, and you'll see me doing crafts at Messy Church as well.
Hello, I'm Terry. The dogs. What I need to say, I'm Terry with the two sheepdogs who are sitting behind me, and I sometimes help Sue at Messy Church. Yeah.
Right, I've just muted Terry because of his dogs, but we'll hear from him again in a minute. So shortly we're going to have four wonderful activities. But first of all, I'm going to talk a little bit about this. Now, I wonder if you know what that is. Well, of course, it's a Red Cross, and it's the badge of the Red Cross Society. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how that began. It was founded by a man called Henry Dunant. He was born in Switzerland, and he was the son of a very Christian family. And the stories of Jesus really affected his life. And one particular story really was the thing that made him realize that he needed to look after people, or whoever they were and whatever nation they came from. And that was the story about Jesus when he was very thirsty and he was sitting by a well. He and his disciples had been working all day, and they came, and Jesus sat down by this well while the disciples went to collect food. Now, Jesus was thirsty, and it was a very hot day, but of course he had nothing to get water from the well with, so he had to sit there. And shortly a woman came along with her bucket to collect water. And Jesus said, "Can you get me some water? I'm thirsty." Well, that doesn't sound outrageous to us, but for the woman, it was totally outrageous, because she was a woman, and Jewish men didn't speak to women in public. And secondly, she was a Samaritan, and the Jews didn't have anything to do with the Samaritans because they were their enemies. And what Henry Dunant realized was that Jesus saw everybody and met everybody's needs, whoever they were and whatever country they came from. And he remembered that all his life. Now, he went on to do all sorts of things. He was heavily involved with the Young Men's Christian Association, which still works today and does a lot of good work. And then he traveled all over Europe, helping people. And so it was, he came to a place in Italy called Solferino. And here there was a terrible battle going on, and hundreds of men were getting wounded and hurt. And Henry Dunant found some people to help him, mostly they were women, to help him heal and tend those wounded soldiers. And they looked after the soldiers, and it didn't matter which side they'd been fighting on, they helped all of them because they were following Jesus' example of being impartial. That means we don't take any notice of where a person comes from or what country they're from. We look after them all just the same. And later on, Henry Dunant went to Geneva, and the beginning of the Red Cross was created there. And they created it as a Red Cross because Henry Dunant came from Switzerland, and Switzerland has a white cross on a red ground as its flag. And they thought it would be lovely to invert that and make it a red cross on a white ground in memory of Henry Dunant. And later on, another association was founded, the Red Crescent, and that too, it's one that mostly comes in Muslim countries, but that too serves everybody, whatever their religion and whatever their nationality. So that is the story of Henry Dunant, and you can find more if you go onto your iPads or your phones, find out more about him and see what else he did during his life. But now we're going to have some activities to go with that story. Now, if you're you've got a preschool bag, you're going to find in there some bandages, and you're going to be told about using those bandages.
Good morning, everyone. It's Jo here again. Hope you're having a nice morning. It's so lovely to hear about Henry Dunant, wasn't it? And I hope you liked the music right at the beginning and the Red Cross song, which is called Life Power. So if you have a 0 to 2 or a preschool envelope this morning, you might find that it's quite squashy and quite big. So if you open your envelope, inside you're going to find one of these, a bandage. Now, for the smaller children, it may well be that size, but for the larger children, I've given them slightly larger bandages. If the bandage is too large, you can cut it in half like this to make 2 smaller bandages. So, before we start, I just want to say a huge thank you this morning to First Response Training in Christchurch, Serious Business Services Limited in Weymouth, and 10th Christchurch Muddyford Sea Scouts for the donation of all the wonderful bandages. Unfortunately, many bandages like this become out of date before they're used. So we often use these to practice on. So we've given you that those lovely organisations have donated them to us so that you can have a practice on your teddy bears, bandaging your teddy bears. Now you can bandage any part of the body you like, whatever makes you feel happy. And unfortunately, these bandages that you've got in your packs can no longer be used on ambulances and at events. So just making you aware of that. They're really just for practice. So if you look at your bandage, you should have a stretchy fabric and a pad. And this is the bit that you are going to be dressing or wrapping round your teddy bear like so. And when I was a volunteer in the Red Cross, if we unrolled these by accident, if we dropped the end, we had to start all over again and do a new bandage, which was very difficult. So we don't have to do that now, luckily, because you're practicing with your bandage. So, but yes, you can roll them up. Just make sure you roll the long side up and leave the little tag outside. Okay, these are these particular bandages with a stretchy bit of bandage and a dressing. are called wound dressings. And I'm going to show you a video now of Jock and Jo, who are first aid trainers with first response training in Christchurch. And they are going to show you how to bandage a cut. And don't worry, Jo has got a bit of makeup on her arm, so it might not look very nice. Okay, over to Jock and Jo.
Hello everyone, I'm just going to show you today how to bandage someone's arm. First of all, put gloves on. Then we get some wipes from the first aid kit. Clean up all the excess blood. Get appropriate size bandage. We unravel the first bit before you actually get to a pad. Then we open the pad up. The excess bit we put round to the side, and then we start to bandage the arm. Once you get to the end, the excess bit that was stuck out earlier is just tied up like so. Obviously don't forget all the bits that you've used to dispose of properly. Thanks for listening to us today. If you want to get in contact, it's First Response Training. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And then next, we are going to have Sheilah's going to show us something. That's if you've got the Key Stage 1 bag. So over to Sheilah.
Hello. In your envelope, you will have found a blank page of a calendar. And we're going to turn that into a kindness calendar. It has a space at the top for the month and another space for the year, and you might like to write your name on it as well. And I think it would be a good idea to decorate it with felt tips or crayons, or if you've got some spare stickers, you could use those. And the idea is to do something kind every day and keep a record on your calendar. Now, I wonder what you think a kind person's like. I was thinking about some words like friendly, helpful, generous, caring about other people, and I expect you can think of other things. Well, why be kind? Well, this quote from Winnie the Pooh gives one reason. A little consideration and a little thought for others makes all the difference. And perhaps you can make all the difference. So first of all, I suggest you make a list of all the kind things you think you might be able to do. And then each day, write one on the calendar. And when you've done it, you can draw a smiley face or a tick in the circle at the bottom. I'm sure you will have lots of things, ideas of kind things you can do. But here are a few that my grandchildren suggested. One of them was make a treasure hunt for a younger brother and sister or a younger friend, and that went down very well. Or my granddaughter accompanied an old lady who's a neighbour on a walk. She needs someone to go with her. Or you could make a card or write a little note to someone who needs cheering up. And my grandson said you could make a certificate to tell your parents or your carers they are the best in the world. Then there are a few fairly obvious ones, like laying the table or clearing up or tidying up toys without being asked. And when you get back to school, I wondered if you could look out for someone who's either new to the school or doesn't seem to have many friends and play with them. Now, I started doing a calendar, not very exciting, and I'm sure you'll do something better, but I put a little pattern round the edge, and I have written on 4 days things that you might do or have a smiley face. And to finish, Winnie Pooh has another quote, which Heather's going to do some screen sharing. And that says, kindness makes you the most beautiful person in the world, no matter what you look like. Well, I do hope you enjoy being kind and making your calendar.
Right. Sorry, I was trying to sort out the screen sharing. We're back. Okay, thank you so much, Sheila, and do enjoy keeping your kindness calendars. Now, if you've got a Key Stage 2 bag or a Key Stage 3 bag, that is Sue and Terry. And Sue, I think you're going to go first, aren't you? So,
No, I think we've
we've
the other
got
way
Terry
around.
first. Sorry, Terry.
Terry first.
Right. Terry, can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
Good.
You can hear me now?
You can, and you're on screen.
Good. If you look in your bag again, you'll find there's a card with 4 circles on it and a little clip, a pin, which we're going to use later for attaching a badge. And we're only going to use one of the circles at the moment, and the other 3 is for you to look and think about some other badges that you might like to make later. But we're going to make a Red Cross badge. Now, don't start cutting anything out. I've just taken one of them, and we're going to colour it in to make the Red Cross, and we'll cut it out later on. So the first thing we're going to do is, if you've got a paintbrush or a crayon or a felt tip, I'm going to use a red Sharpie pen to make my one, but see what you would like to draw it with. And the first thing we're going to do is, if I take the first badge, I've found a little thin metal ruler, so I can put it along here, and I can draw part way across each side of it. So I'm just going to do that, and I'll show you. So that's what I've drawn to start with. And we're going to make the outline of the cross. And the next one, we're going to do it the other way. So I'm going to do the next stage and draw it. And you've then got the outline of the cross. Don't worry if some of the colour goes over the edge of the circle, because you're going to be cutting it all out neatly later on. And with your felt tip, the next thing to do is to colour it in like I've done there. And there you are, you have the Red Cross. And after that, we're going to put a label on the back of it. So the next thing is to cut around it. So if I cut it, I'll show you just briefly. I'll just go round it. I'm not very good at cutting, and I'm sure you can make a better job than me. Make sure you've got a nice sharp pair of scissors. Don't cut your fingers. And there we are. So we've got the Red Cross, and then on the back of this, if you take the clip and can you see the red on it? You just peel that off very, very carefully, and it's got a sticky pad on it, and you just press that firmly on the back, and you've then got a Red Cross that you can pin onto your jumper. Now, you've got the other 3 of those on there, and you can make different badges. And one of the things I've done, I was making a badge for something else. And I thought, well, some people might not like to use a pin because it's sharp. So I got my hole punch. I went to the garage, here it is, I found it. I went and found a hole punch, and I just pressed that through, and I got a lovely neat hole. And I then tied a bit of string on it, so you could actually hang one of your other badges as a pendant. But the main thing we're doing, the most important thing, is the Red Cross badge. So I hope you all enjoy doing that.
Right. Thank you, Terry. That was lovely, and hopefully you'll enjoy making those badges. And now, lastly, but by no means least, Sue.
Hello there. Now, one of the things that the Red Cross is well known for is helping people to meet up with people that have gone missing. So they go searching for missing people and then link them up together. So today I thought it would be a good idea if you could go searching. When they go searching, they come across lots of dead ends. They have to go backwards and try a different route. So how could we do that? Well, what we've done is we've today the mazes. The first one will allow you to draw the lines from Mr. Henry Dunant, who we've heard about already, right through, here he is, until he can find Red Cross. On the back of your sheet, you've also got an Easter egg. You can see the rabbit can find all those baby Easter eggs. So I hope you enjoy doing the mazes today and linking up the rabbit and the eggs and Mr. Dunant and his flag. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. That was lovely. And I do hope you enjoy those mazes. They look great fun. You go down so many wrong routes, don't you? So we'll look forward to hearing from you whether you've succeeded in getting to the eggs or the Red Cross flag. Thank you for being with us. Don't forget to be back tomorrow for the next Easter in a bag. And now we'll just finish with the grace as usual, and we'll try to get it right. May the grace of Christ
Christ,
and the love
And the
of
love
of God.
and the
and the
fellowship of the
fellowship
Holy Spirit
of the Holy
be
Spirit
with us all.
Always.
evermore.
Amen.
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 Dance there.